We all know that eye contact is critical in building trust, building rapport, but this 2017 study explains why. Researchers from Fudan University found that when we look directly at someone, we start perceiving them as more similar to us than they actually are. So if our eye contact increases perceived similarity, connect that to the 2001 study about homophily, how similarity leads to connection. Suddenly you have this pipeline between the way we make eye contact and the depth of the connections that we can build. I first got curious about this subject when I was competing as a public speaker for years, right? Because we're trained in eye contact. We rehearse the eye contact for every single line, every single word. And now, as a cognitive scientist, I have collected the tons of most interesting research I could find on the subject. So, without further ado, here are 3 signs that your eye contact is actually awkward or even creepy, and what we can do about it to make our eye contact more warm and friendly. And sign number 1 is doing the Terminator. The Terminator is the worst thing that you could do in a group setting. Either we are not connecting with a single person, we're just roving back and forth like a robot, or we're tunneling on one person, making them feel so uncomfortable and isolating everyone else in the process. What can we do instead? Well, a 2016 study, it's researchers from the University of London, found the perfect solution. They got 500 study participants, and they showed them videos of actors making certain amounts of eye contact for a certain number of seconds. They had this little button that they could press, which either said that was too short of eye contact or that was too long of eye contact. They found that around 3 seconds of eye contact was the perfect sweet spot, beyond which a lot of people started to feel uncomfortable. 3 seconds, a very arbitrary amount of time. We don't really want to be in a group conversation at a party, at a get-together counting 1, 2, 3 in our heads. So what can we do instead? Well, the world of public speaking comes in clutch with a simple eye contact rule. We were told that you must switch eye contact from person A to person B at the end of a phrase. So the simplest way to think about it is at the end of a sentence, when you hit a period, you switch from this person to the next person, and then talk to them for a sentence, and then talk to the next person for a sentence. Or, more advanced version of the rule, you switch when you hit punctuation. Right, so let's say I have 2 phrases, a comma in the middle, I can switch between them, or a list of multiple things, I can look at a person for each item in the list. Now we're not being the Terminator roaming around or the Terminator tunneling in on a target, right? We are giving each individual person time to connect with us and making sure that we address every single person in a group. Sign number 2 of awkward eye contact, your ratios are off. I had to re-record this bit, so prep for some continuity errors. The key realization from a lot of eye contact research is that the amount of eye contact when we're talking versus when we're listening needs to be different. The pop psychology articles, the research studies, even the Indeed job search website section on job interview advice. Yeah, I checked that. They agree, all of them, on 2 numbers, 50-70. It means that when we're talking, we should be maintaining eye contact 50% of the time, versus when we're listening to someone, we should be looking at them around 70% of the time. There's no way to actually calculate these percentages. I should not be sitting in my next conversation with a notebook going, okay, I looked at them, 1 check mark. That's not really how this works. So given that these 50-70 numbers are a suggestion, an arbitrary set of numbers, how can we actually use it? Well, in the next conversation you have, just try to be aware of your natural default level of eye contact. Am I looking at someone closer to the 50, the less than 50, or the 70, the more than 70? Because eye contact is not something we think about. Right? It's something that goes under the radar because there's just no reason to pay attention to it in regular life. But with just 1 conversation, it completely changed my awareness of how much I was looking at other people when I was talking. And at the end of the day, remember the end goal. This eye contact is a way for us to build rapport, to build trust, to show that we're listening and to show that we care, which makes it so important. And finally, sign number 3, empty eyes. And empty eyes are that deadpan stonewall stare a lot of us do when we think of the word eye contact, right? How creepy is that? And the reason is because actual eye contact is shaped by everything around it. It's shaped by our facial expressions, right? Reacting to what someone's saying with surprise, confusion. It is accompanied by posture, right? In conversations, there's natural moments where you lean back. There's natural moments where you lean forward. All these contribute to a more comprehensive, more holistic picture that you are present in a conversation. And these empty eyes are truer than ever on a video call, right? In these post-COVID times where zooming's become even a verb, we've become so used to looking at our screens. We look into their eyes, even though we see those telltale signs of eyes slightly lowered. No one's ever really looking at each other even a single time. But the research on it is alarming, right? It's a study from 2005, which surprisingly feels more relevant than ever today. And they found that when you actually look into a camera, instead of just looking at your screen, when you give the other person on the other side the feeling of being looked at, their information recall is way higher, meaning they register your words, they remember them and take them in at a way higher rate than if you were looking at your screen. It's not just in our day-to-day conversations and the way we interact with people, it's even on screens. It's even when you're separated by miles, that just looking into someone's eyes, just giving a person the feeling of being seen means so much. Now, we know eye contact is a critical tool for showing attention, for showing that we're listening, but there are a few key mistakes that we all make when listening that completely ruin the perception of how good of a listener we actually are. So I've broken down 3 of those worst listening mistakes in this video. So check it out and make sure you're not doing any of them so that we can be the best friend, partner, person that we want to be in our next conversation. We'll talk soon.